these are going to be questions that are to help you on. So this is going to be questions about who are the most precious people to you. What are the most meaningful activities to you? These are the activities that you feel are extremely important, that you really love spending the time. What are the major achievements that you have done in your life? So if I look at the past 5 years, 10 years, what are the 2 or 3 things that are very important to you that you have and what you learned from it? What are the personal values that you want to pass on to your kids? So these are all questions that sometimes it might take, you say, Constantin, each of these questions might be half an hour. I agree. But I want to list them. Then we're going to look at the key challenges, the big problems that you faced in your life. What are the problems that you face? It could be the death of a person that is close. It could be you've been fired from a job. It could be that you have different things. What are the challenges and what have you learned from these challenges? And then we're going to look at your precious dreams. These are the things, if I was here and I would say, look, I will make your wish come through. Rima, tell me what is the 1 or 2 wish that you have, and then I want you to really look and imagine what these dreams will be. Now these questions are personal questions. René might say, Constantin, ça me concerne à moi, j'ai envie de le garder à moi-même. I have no problem, but I think it's important for you to answer these questions. So what we've done is we list them. We list these questions. So what I want you to do is to take the time to fill. I'm going to give you 15 minutes. It's not a lot of time that you have. 1 is, what are the most important people in my life? This is clear. So you're going to list them. 2, am I investing my time in the people that matter most to me? Be honest about it. Are you investing? Yes for some, no for others, that you have to do. So you're doing it now. So I'm listing now the questions. 3, what are the most meaningful activities? Activities means are the things that you enjoy the most. It could be playing golf. It could be, I don't know, it could be Annelies Elfike, it's Jessica. So for Jessica, she loves to date, she loves to, so she loves to drive, so it's, what are the most meaningful activities in my life? Am I investing my time in the activities Am I investing my time in the activities that matter most to me? Okay? Then what am I willing to do about it? So what are you willing to do about what you have answered so far? The other questions are simple. What have I accomplished that I remember and appreciate? These are key achievements that you have done, what you learned from it, and what am I willing to let go? So things I will stop doing. This is also a very important question to answer. And there is no more. Okay, so I'm stopping at this. So what you do is, the last one is, what is the most important personal values? So these are the values, and this is what is the direction I want to take. Now, difficult questions. You have 9 difficult questions. Take the time. This is the first shot, trying to do as best as you can, and then we take 15 minutes to do this. Any questions on the questions? So once you have answered all these questions, what are the things that you will probably do differently? Having answered these questions, you will see in terms of achievements, you will see in terms of what are the things that you will do differently today, giving the answers to the questions. So normally, when you answer question 1 to 8, this should start bringing things in your head. So there are going to be some common theme that is coming up. So the question 9 is, okay, you've answered these 1 to 8, what are you going to do about it? So what are you going to do about what you, say for instance, that the most precious people are your 2 sons and your daughter, and you realize that you're spending only, I don't know, 1 week a year with them. So this is already, there is a mismatch between who is and the time that you spend. What can you, so this, what are you going to do about it? So this will be one way, but it could be so many other things. So it's more asking you on the function of these questions, what is it triggering in you? Am I answering it correctly? Yes. Okay. Any other questions that you had? So what were the questions that were the most difficult to answer?
The last one.
9. Beside 9.
7.
So what was 7 again?
What am I willing to let go?
Exactly. This is it goes back to some of you said in terms of the goal is I need to help prioritize. It's extremely difficult to prioritize if you're not willing to let go. And the tendency is we don't. We want to keep everything, keep doing everything, till the moment where you break. You emotionally break, you physically break on these things. So you need to learn, one, what is important versus what is less important, and stop doing things, because as you grow, you will have a lot of it. So what you need to let go is a very important question to answer. And you need to start now, and this will help you when you're going to have the list of priorities. Any other difficult questions?
Sometimes this thing that you want to let go is a means to an end so that you reach
a goal. So this then becomes, if this is a means to an end and this goal is very important for you, don't let go. So if this is something that is related to your whatever is your ultimate objective of achieving, this you keep. So what happens in life is that you are going to be stretched too thin. The more you're going to take on, the more you're going to grow. Family, you're going to have kids, you're going to have work, you're going to have a number of employees. You might have 10, 100, 200. You have other initiatives, social, professional. You're going to be stretched around, and you realize that the day is full. So you need to understand, okay, what matters for me the most. So go back to you. What matters for you in terms of people, in terms of activities. Anybody wants to share what matters for him the most in terms of, yeah, go ahead. What do you want to share?
The activities, let's say.
No, you could share whatever you feel like you want to share.
Well, I can share my activities.
Okay.
So basically the meaningful activities in my life are basically working out 3 to 4 times a week, reading, and trying, for me, basically new restaurants with people I enjoy my time with.
Okay. So these are the things that you like to do, and you find the time to make them. So in some ways you're balanced. There is a balance between what are the important things for you and the time you have. Could you give me examples of things where you find there is an imbalance, or there is a challenge facing it?
Basically my challenges are, because I have a lot of more or less meaningful activities, I find it hard to make the balance by spending time with the people that I care about most, which are basically my family.
Yes. They're here?
Yeah.
They're here. So what are you going to do about it?
Basically prioritize what are the things that matters to me most now, and find really the time, manage to find the time to spend more time with them.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share?
Actually, I would like to share number 4.
Yes?
Actually, number 7.
Number 7.
What am I willing to let go of?
Yes.
So, it's one thing I gained throughout experience. So I'm willing to let go of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, because things really happen outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
So if you are willing to get off this,
Yes.
you can improve your life.
Yeah. This is a very courageous objective. So Renee has echoed that she has a similar sort of, this in some ways is a wonderful wish, because we tend to be very comfortable in this, and we can tend to stick to it. And the more you're willing to let go, the more you're willing to go what's outside this wall, break these boundaries, do out of the box, the more you might be hurt in the process. So you have a lot of people that don't do it because they've tried it, and the hurting feels, Constantin, I want to protect myself. So I would prefer to stay in there. But I think going through this, even though it might be painful at times, is wonderful. Okay, so this is great. Any other one that you want to let go?
Actually, that's what came to mind.
The one, okay, good. So you have at least an echo here from Renee. Renee, what else do you want to let go?
My comfort.
Your comfort zone. This is a great wish, yes.
I would want to let go of negative people in my life.
Okay, this is also a very important one. What you do is you have people, and this is, again, you will see that they have people who uplift you. You have people where you are with them, these people draw the best out of you. And unfortunately, you have people that pulls you down, for different reasons. It might be because they're very possessive in terms of the love that they have. It might be because, they have a different way of looking at life than you do. So letting go of the people that are for you negative, or and sometimes it's difficult because these people could be members of a family. So this will be, or it could be very close friends that you had, and you don't because you feel morally responsible to be with these people. So it is. This is also a very courageous one. And any other? Yes, Rima.
What am I willing to let go of? Stubbornness.
Okay.
And
Okay, doubt. Fear is another one. Fear that you didn't bring out. Yeah, they will do this. Yes? The way? Overthinking, yes. You tend to, so you have, I mentioned, you have people that dive. You know, we dive and we ask ourselves afterwards what happened. Other people, you know, I was dating a lovely lady. She's, you know, a long time ago, of course. So it is, and you know, everything was a reflection. You know, I was going mad. I mean, it's like all these questions and question again. And at the same time, I said, but I'm not living, you know, so I need to jump. And then we could ask the question and reflect and adjust the course. So overthinking could be sometimes a handicap. So being able to let go of this, it's a female male. Okay, so it's, so we're good, very good. Any other feedback, any other sharings that you have? 6.
What have I accomplished that I remember and have
Okay.
Well, take the right decisions concerning my personal life.
I'm sorry?
Taking the right decision
Okay.
concerning my personal life.
Okay, so what I will do if I was Emma's coach is I will say, for me it's too generic. So I will say I want it to be more specific. I think I know what decision she has taken, so I don't want to but I would have asked her, you know, what decision, what specific decision she has. So so we'll say, okay, and why?
My husband.
Okay, leaving your husband. I know, but okay. So it's so yeah. No, but sometimes it's difficult. You have people that stay in a relationship because they feel that morally you have to stay in a relationship, and being able, you face it, but it's not working. It's not working, but because of kids, because of so many different areas, you stay in this relationship and you're not happy. You are drained. You're emotionally drained on it. So it takes courage to be able to face it. And sometimes you're right. It's women who have more of the courage of wanting to break and than the man would do. So there might be also a man-woman sort of thing. So these will be. So I will ask her to be more specific. She will say. Then I will ask her, okay, why do you think this was the great achievements? So then she will tell me, Constantin, I'm free. Or she could tell me, then we go into other. So these will be the sort of questions. So from this, then we go into other questions that you would dig in. And this is how a mentoring or a coaching relationship would be. Okay. So this. Anybody else want to cheat? Yes.
Also number 6.
Yes.
As an accomplishment, I led team in critical missions.
Yes.
What I learned from it is give credit to others.
Yes.
But at the same time, you need to keep yourself indispensable.
Yes. Okay, so it's balancing the fact of really empowering, recognizing, and at the same time wanting to make sure that you play a role in this organization, you continue to it. You see, it's interesting, you know, when we ask the question, you know, the man, it's a lot in terms of the brain, you know, so it is this thing, you know, when you talk, it was really about emotions, about wanting there to go. There's no right and wrong again, but it's a way we think. What I'm encouraging you, so if you're very much on the heart side or the emotional side, in some ways, if I look at Emma's thing, a lot of it is emotional. I think in sometimes put your mind in, you know, so make sure that the mind is there, because sometimes you might be, you know, missing on opportunities. Now she has a good balance, because once she get the divorce, she made sure that the divorce was a good divorce for her. So the mind was very much at work here. And yes.
So there's 6.
Yes.
What have I accomplished? Made good friends based on love and compassion, and made products I'm proud of. What did I learn from those accomplishments? Do things with love and perseverance.
Okay. So these will be part also. Anybody shared personal values? Anybody had, we went to personal values or not yet? It was one of the questions, yes? Anyone who wants to share personal values? This is a difficult one sometimes to answer. Yes?
Fairness.
Okay.
And integrity.
Fairness and integrity, yes? These are yes?
Mention freedom, independence.
Yes. It's interesting. Freedom and independence, how would you differentiate one from the other? You're free, normally if you're free, you're independent, or I'm missing something? Freedom, so free, okay, but freedom, independent, and the third one is?
I said empathy, honesty.
Empathy, honesty, very good. These are very important values. I'm asking. So it is, for me, they're similar. So they're...
Independent, financially independent.
Yes, it could be. This is why it could be. It could be emotional, one could be financial. So you have, it goes back to these, the 4 balance. Keep this in mind always in your life and make sure that you have this balance. Any other, see the way in terms of the values is you know, so it's the sort of thing that you really want to pass on to your children. If you have something that you want, is how you bring them up. What are the things that you do? How you go about selecting what your soulmate is going to be. So it's a lot about alignment in terms of values. You know, how do you go end up deciding what sort of investors you want to do? A lot of it is not only about the money, it's about the alignment in terms of values. So you have a lot of decisions that you have to make in your life that are important decisions. Who you're dating, who you're marrying, how you bring up your kids, who you take as an investor, who do you take as partners, who do you hire in terms of your team. All these things are related to values. So clarity on your values is very important, and these values might evolve over time. You know, so I had some values when it was very much about making sure that professionally I would have a very aggressive. Now it's much more the sharing with others. It's much more the empathy that was there, where in the past it wasn't. Empathy was not. It was really accountability. It was really performance. It was really making sure that we had. So you could see that with time, with situations, your value system changed that you have. Any other values? Yes.
Didn't your previous values shape the person you are today?
Of course it did. I mean, the values shaped the people I was with, the close people that I shared my life shaped a lot. The events that went in, the failures shaped even more than the successes. You will see that the failures are quite important in shaping who you are today. So as long as you take the right outlook to it. So it's quite important to, yes?
Well, I would say forgiveness, patience, and understanding.
Okay.
They're all together because this is what helped me in my life. Till now I haven't met bad people.
Yes.
I have met people that do bad actions.
Yes.
So that helped me not losing anyone till now.
Yes.
I would pass it to my...
Very good. Very good.
Kindness and caring is also something.
Kindness, caring, empathy, all these are, yes, so these are values, but these are yours. And they normally, again, they help you. Each of these questions should help you. Each of the questions have a certain dimension. What I'm encouraging you to do is take them now, complete this, and then do this, keep it somewhere. And then you go back 3 years down the road, when you have another inflection point, go through this. And you will see how curiously there are common themes, but at the same time there's going to be things that you let go and things that you become a person. But looking back helps you in planning the moving forward. So this is why keep a certain track. So this could be a start of this personal journal that would help you professionally, but it could also help you personally. Okay, any other questions?
I have a small
Yes.
question. Maybe it's what I'm willing to let go of by the fact that, for example, I left the UAE and I came back to Lebanon. Is it a sort of letting go? I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, in some ways we share, because I was also in the UAE on this one, and you realize, I mean, it's an environment where there is a lot of money around, you have a lot of decisions, you socialize like crazy, you do this thing, and at one point in time you had enough. At one point in time you realize that there was maybe not the depth that you wanted. So you go back to your values and you realize, but you know, what's happening is not aligned with the values that I have. You know, this is different. And at one point in time, I know some people who have children, they will say, I don't want to bring up my children in Dubai. It's not at all the sort of image that I want to give. There is very few older people in Dubai. If you look at, or in Abu Dhabi, because they you know, these are the people who are professionals. Normally it's between 25 and 60, and then
This is an email we always do with my wife when we come here. When you go to France.
yes.
Oh, there is old people.
Yes, there's all this. Yeah, but it's yeah. So so these are so it is a way to let go. So what you decided is you decided to let go of this life. You want to do.
More move on.
I'm sorry.
After move on.
I mean, it's moving. It's letting go of a certain set with certain values that decided that these values. But at the time, it was important. Why? Because Dubai, you make a career, you make money, you have positions, you have all these sort of things that are some ways might be appealing to him 10 years ago or 15 years ago. But now, a different value set. I don't need it. It's not what I want. You know, when Sammy is decided to let go of Mary Lynch in London and to come back here, so it was also he had it, he knew it, he enjoyed it, and now it's a time to do something different that you have. So these decisions are decisions of changing. Okay, I'm going to go now to more difficult questions. So you thought you had it easy. So this one here is going to be about the key challenges or problems you face in your life. So what are these problems? So it could be different. It could be personal or it could be professional. What were the causes? What were the causes for these challenges that take place? And then what are the action that you have taken? So here, example is, for instance, there is a person that has a tendency to change job every year. So the question is why? Why is this happening? What could be the causes? It could be maybe she's very bad in terms of selecting the right opportunity for her. What should be the actions taken in terms of, so she gets bored on the job, or so these will be, so try to be open, transparent. What are the challenges that you're facing? What do you think are the root causes? You might not have the answer. This you might need help to get the answer, but at least be open about the challenges. If you have some of the answers, is great, and what you have done so far when about these challenges. Is this clear? Now the second one is we're going to ask you to do things. Here I'm going to ask you about, no, I'll do this. Do the challenges first. We focus on the challenges. This is in the past. In the past is events that took place in your life which were painful events. So painful events. So this could be, so these are the challenges. This is what I call challenges. So the challenges are events that you faced in the past. It could be, I mentioned, death in a family. It could be being fired from a job. It could be being bankrupt as a startup. It could be, I'm sorry? Falling from the wrong guys, you know. The moments which were painful for you in your life. What were those moments where you had pain? Trying to understand why. What caused this pain behind.
That's trouble.
You have trouble in finding challenges? It's good. Ziad, في challenge or ما في challenge? Million challenges? Do you want to share one of them?
Yeah, I can. I got a heart condition recently, and I think the causes of the challenge is excessive stress, lack of life balance, and stressful people in my life. And actions taken, I'm trying to balance out. Exactly. That's the first action. That's how I call it. On actions, I'm trying to strike a better balance, find a new set of rules that governs relationship with stressful people. And I'm working on my anger management as well a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your being open. Anybody else wants to share? Yes?
In challenge, I was general manager of a contracting company, 120 employees, and I had a challenge to tolerate my values. I tried to accommodate, I couldn't. Action taken, I resigned.
But you had a challenge accommodating your values?
Changing my values.
Because the job forced you to change values. Specifically, it was what, around integrity, around transparency? What was the issue? Integrity. Okay, this is actually, it's a good way. So what you do, and you could be faced with situations, especially in the contracting space, where a number of these projects are projects where you have to have below the table payments. Goods, yes?
When fear of commitment is the underlying cause for many of the issues you have in your life,
Yes.
work or choosing a country to live in,
Yes.
what action can you take?
Okay, this is good. I mean, it's a long discussion, so we want to have, but when, the question is the following: when fear of commitment is the root cause of a number, so she's realizing that there is a common point. Fear of commitment in terms of relationship, fear of commitment in terms of job, fear, and this happens. I know a couple of people also in this room who have the same sort of, it's the fear of committing to it. What you need is, one, to be aware of it. Is already a first step, is to be aware that you have this, trying to understand what drives this fear of commitment. Is it the fact that in the past things have happened in terms of, I don't know, letting go of father, mother, or, so you're trying to understand what is, so this will take time to trying to so once you understand it, first is to realize it, then trying to understand where it's coming from, then accepting that whatever have happened, accept. Forgiveness is quite important in these moments, because you have, and then this is part of you, and maybe this will stay with you for the rest of your life. So what you do is you take this vulnerability and have it as part of you, and once you embrace it, then progressively you will see that the impact will go away. But once you resist it, the more you're trying to resist it, the more it will haunt you. So this will be, and you will have to, so one of the attitude is, one, face it, realize it, try to understand where it's coming from, then embrace it, accept it, and then when you do this, miracles happen. Okay? So this will be any other one that you want to share? Okay, we're getting close to the interesting portions. Everything is interesting, by the way. So you have, here it's about Santa Claus. So the Santa Claus is Constantin is Santa Claus. So I'm here and I say, okay, what are your most, so you have no constraint, think completely outside the box. What are the wildest dream that you have? These are the sort of things, you know, but I don't have the money. Forget about the money. Forget about this thing. Forget about the health. Forget about the age. What are the wildest dream that for you are the most important to you? So this is the time to think, to dream, to think big on it. What are the action that you have taken on these dreams? And then the third column, you don't put it. The third column you list. So you list your dreams and you list the action that you have taken on these dreams. Professionally, personally, spiritually, all dimensions. Now normally what I would have done is I would have asked you to pair and for you to share your dream and the actions taken with another person, and the other person will give you other ways that he would address it. So what I'm asking you now, instead of sharing, who wants to volunteer and will give, or the whole class will give feedback. Who wants to volunteer his dream? Go ahead. So what is your dream?
I have many dreams, but okay. My first dream is to establish an agency for event planning. Well, the actions taken already is that I worked for almost 5 years with a visiting agency. I have organized and hosted different types of events.
Okay, this is great. Okay. Any other actions on this one?
No.
So let's focus on this one. So what you want is you want to set up your events planning agency. You want to have it, and you work for 5 years with one agency, and you've been doing this, you've been organizing events. Okay, now the question is, what else do you think? 5 years is a lot, because 5 years you learn. You have all the contacts, you have all the network. What do you think could be other steps that you could take? Now, I give you some ideas if I was there. So if we were doing this thing, because normally it's the other person who gives you feedback, I would say if really this is what you want to do, I will start by putting together maybe a very small plan in terms of what does this look like. So I will put together a plan. I will discuss the plan maybe with 2 or 3 people. You know, you have a person behind you, you could have a person, so these are people who could give you ideas whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. Then you could test it. Next door here, Faris is not there, but next door what they do is they take people with ideas. I'll show you, you have 10 tables, you have 10 companies, people like you that have ideas. They give them $30,000, they take 10% in equity, and for 3 months they coach them and help them implement this idea. So this could be another example, is to talk to accelerators to find out what they could do. So this is one way. Then what you do is surround yourself with 1 or 2 people that could help it. You won't do it alone. So trying to see who are and create a team of 2 to 3 people who could help you. This will be other ways to be able to make the stream. Okay, I'm not going to go through it because we don't have time. I don't want the people to leave because there's an important one, is the last slide that I want you to do. But this is quite important because these list of dreams, you need to have the actions and you need to get the validation, not the validation, but get other options on these actions. And this is also an exercise that you could do with your coach. I'm going so this is onto, now the last one is this is the one before last. Normally out of your dreams, when you go through them, you're going to start 2 or 3 are going to be critical ones. These 2 or 3, in some ways we want you to list them. So I'm asking you to prioritize those dreams. And you will prioritize by getting feedback from different people, and from this you would reflect and say, finally, these are the 2 or 3 that I really want to achieve in terms of my dreams project. And you will be surprised that these different dreams might be aligned. And there is some sort of a common goal across these different dreams. You will be surprised that this is happening. And if it's, if it happens, what comes is you are here. This is your personal development plan. Your personal development plan, and this is what you want to achieve. So basically here is that you will see that The second one is what you want to achieve, how to achieve it. So you have different dreams that should come up. So one dream will be, I want to set up this center that you want to have. But at the same time, I'm very keen to make sure that some of the proceeds goes in terms of setting up a foundation where I could train people or I could train students to be able to help in terms of events. It could be 2 or 3. So these becomes, if you want, your goals. These are the main goals that you want to achieve in your life. These goals might come up to a personal vision, is why you exist, why you're here. So you start with these goals. These are the goals that will help you, and these goals are the dreams. And it happens that these dreams end up coming and supporting one common mission why you exist. And then what you do for each of these goals is, what am I going to do? Like we have done now, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is what we will do on this. This becomes your personal development plan. So it is a pyramid. If you ask me myself, so for instance, my ultimate goal is and the way you put it is, I'm a blessed man if I can share my knowledge and help transform other peoples and organizations in emerging economies in a way that could help this place be a better place. So this is my ultimate one. What are the goals that I want to do? I went with Stanford Seed in East Africa, in West Africa, and now in East Africa, because they allowed me to be able to explore a continent that I didn't. This was one of the goals. The second goal, take this learning, bring it back, and try to do it with IM Capital and to do it with others. So these will be, and I have a third goal that you have in here. So I'll build the goal, and then I go into the specifics, you know, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to fund it, where do I get the money, do I get other resources, the support of people to do it. So what I'm asking you now is to come up with this, and this becomes your personal development plan. This is why I exist. And sometimes you say, Constantin, it's very difficult for me to answer the question today. Then answer the other one. Give me the 2 or 3 dreams that are the most important to you. This becomes your goal. And for each of these dreams, I want to know how we're going to make it happen, how we will help you trying to make it happen. And then when we answer these questions, a light bulb comes in. And these are actually aligned, and this is really why I'm here. And this is what I would like to leave behind. Are you with me?
But is that, will it help you achieve it? Is that only related to our business?
No, it could be business or it could be personal. It could be both, you know. So for instance, on the professional side, we've done this. So what we do is we have an approach, you know, Joanna and Ziad, our approach. What we do is we started with the same thing. We started with his pain points. What are the pain points of the companies? We went through a SWOT analysis. Purely, it was a pure company SWOT analysis. From this, we defined what were the 2 or 3 overreaching goals that he wants to do. Fundraising came as one. The other came as, I want to make sure that I have a sales model in place that is running. So you have a few. And then we went into this, which was the tactical things. What do we need to do for each one in order to make it happen? So we called it a balanced scorecard, but this was purely professional. I'm asking you to do this more on a personal basis. What is your dream? You, Rima, as a person, what are these dreams going to be? So do you understand what it is? Now this here, you say, Constantin, I cannot answer the first one. It is fine. I tried to give you my answer to it, but you can answer this one because you've answered it. Out of your dreams, you have 2 or 3 dreams that are becoming very important, and then you could answer how are you going to make these dreams come through. Once you have this and you want to sit down and you want to review those, I'll be more than happy to do it. Joanna is the person to contact. She will set up the agenda, and this gets if you want, this feedback that you will get in order to be able to finalize this personal development plan. Now on a professional basis, Ziad needs to do this with every single person in his team. Not like this, he does it differently. He will set, these are the 2 or 3 things that I want you to do, Joanna, and these are the things that you will have to implement in order to make it happen. So this, he will do it on a professional basis. I'm asking you to do it, whatever happens on professional, to do it on a personal basis. Okay? Any questions on this? So normally you should fill it. So what I want you now is I want you to at least make sure that you understand these different templates. You will see when you answer these questions, what today seems not clear, when you go through it and sleep over it and go through it in a week or in a month or in a year, you will see that other pieces of the puzzle will become clear, and suddenly a miracle happens when these pieces of the puzzle fit together and there is alignment. And this is, it will happen. If you're here, it's because for you these questions are important. And the answers would come. If you ask and you want to spend the time and you reflect on it, these will happen. You might have other questions. I've put you my email on the front. This is the personal email. In case you have others that you want to do, you could contact me on it for the meetings. Now I'm going to be gone in East Africa for a period of 2 months, but I'll be back in the beginning of January. So mid-October I'm gone, but I'm back in the beginning of January. So is this clear? So this is basically your task. Yes, Ziad?
Sometimes you have multiple roadmaps to get to the same objective or dream. How do you know which one is likely to be right path? How do you choose among them or put the right optimization?
Okay, so these are the options. You remember the GROW model? So you have different options. How do you know which option to choose? Somebody else asked me exactly the same question. How do we know which is the option to? This is what you discuss. You would validate. So you have this, these are the options. So you look, the first thing I will ask you is what are the criteria that are important for you to decide, you know? So if it was purely business, we answered it. I will tell you the first is, does it make sense financially? 2, is it aligned with who you are in terms of the strategic decision? 3, are you able to execute on it? So if you're not able to execute, if it's not aligned, or if it's not financially feasible, maybe it's not the right option. 4, is it aligned with your own values? The values that you have, is this ingrained? So these will be the questions that will be filters to decide out of these 3 or 4 options which is the one that makes more sense for you. So I will use a similar sort of approach to validate. And don't get it from Constantin. You will get it from Constantin, you get it from Endeavor, you could get it from Sami, you could get it from others, and then from this you will get several feedback, and then automatically in your head this process will come. And this you do well. You know, you and Rima share one thing in common, is you know how to reach out, you know how to connect, you bring people in, you know how to motivate them to help and to contribute, and this will help you in finding the answers to these different options. Okay? So this is something that you need to work on. Once you have completed and you want me to review it, even if you cannot meet face-to-face next week because you're not available and you're not there, you could send it to me, we could Skype together. I'm definitely back in beginning of January, so we could continue this thing. So I'll be happy to do it. This is part of one of my dreams, is to help people realize their own. So this is how I believe you get ultimate happiness, is that when you make other people's, or you help in some small ways other people realize their own dreams. If you want to meet with me, Joanna, she owns my calendar, my agenda for next week. You could email me. You could do both. You could choose Joanna, and then you could email me. Okay. So the last slide, and I don't want to. Okay, this is something I organized, and Rula was here, and you have. I organized my birthday, and we hiked up in the mountains. And I like this quote from Harold. Live your life each day as if you would climb a mountain, and I'm sure Sami would relate to it. An occasional glance toward the summit keeps the goal in mind. So always look at the summit to make sure that you have the goal in mind. But many beautiful scenes are to be observed from each new vantage point. So what you say, take the time. Take the time to look. You know, tendency is for us, we want to go to the goal, and life is every single step. Climb slowly, steadily, enjoying each passing moment. And the view from the summit will serve as a fitting climax for the whole journey. I think it's a beautiful way for the people who enjoy mountains, who enjoy climbing on it. This is a complicated one. This is the natural law of the universe. I'm going to focus on a couple. All this will be available electronically. It's in the slide set. You don't have it in your slides because we run out of paper and ink behind it. But Joanna would have it. But I want to focus on a few. Perpetual transformation. Energy moves into physical form. The images you hold in your mind most often materialize in results in your life. Thoughts are things. This is a very important one, and it helped me in my life. A lot of people tend to think sometimes negatively, and these end up impacting the way they are. So it's extremely important that your outlook and your thoughts are thoughts that are not only positive, but you surround yourself with people who think the same way. So perpetual transformation, energy moves into physical form. Your thoughts actually will end up transforming in one way or the other into others. Okay, relativity is an obvious one. When you are not feeling good, okay, be aware of things. Okay, polarity. Everything has an opposite. Hot, cold, up, down, good, bad. Constantly look for the good in people and situation. When you find it, tell the person. People love compliments and the positive value you're making it. Remember, good idea, good vibration. So it's all about your positive outlook in life. This is always, especially in countries like Yemen and other countries, the outlook that you have would have also an impact on the life that you do. Related to it is the rhythm. For me, it is the closest one to my heart. The tide goes out, Night follows days, good time, bad times. When you are on a downswing, do not feel bad. Know the swing will change and things will get better. Now, Rumi will tell you, Kul hal yazul. So it is things come and things go. Things come and things go. So we have to accept it. This is part of life. The more you accept this, the more you will embrace the moments that are going to be difficult. So this is one that resonates very closely. Cause and effect is another one. In the Indian way of looking, it's the whatever you send into the universe comes back. Action, reaction are equal and opposite. Say good things to everyone, treat everyone with total respect, and it would all come back. Never worry about what you are going to get. Just concentrate on what you can give. So concentrate on the giving. Don't expect anything in return. The more you give, the happier you will be. Try to be as positive in your life. So these are spirituality, they're not religion. They're across different religions on it, but are things that I related. The other time, this is also applicable for me, gender. Every seed has a gestation or incubation period. Ideas are spiritual seeds and will move into form or physical results. Your goal will manifest when the time is right. No, they will. And sometimes we tend to be impatient. It's not happening. It's not happening. Give the time for time to take place. Give the time for gestation. So these are a few thoughts on it. I will end up with this. It's been from 4 to 7. It's very different from the workshops. It's the first time that I'm delivering this one. I've done it informally with close friends. I mentioned my children on it. What we want is I want you to take it. We'll have the complete slide set from Joanna. We will send it electronically. I'll be more than happy to sit down with you once you have completed your personal development plan and go through it and see maybe different ways to be able to look and to help you on it. So I appreciate your time. I know it is late. Thank you, and I hope you, thank you.